I'm going to show the construction of two seam clamps for solid surface. I used Aspire 8 to do the layout and to do all my drawings and create the toolpath. And here I show the simulation of how the toolpath went. I actually took the previous King puck that I used and modified it. I made it smaller so it would fit the two smaller gaskets from Lee Valley Tools. I sometimes call these gaskets O-rings, but I think the proper terminology is gaskets. They're special for vacuum. They come 3 in a package from Lee Valley Tools. The vacuum puck is about 4.5 by 6 inches by 1/2 inch thick. I'm running a 1/4 inch ball nose bit at about 21,000 RPM and a feed rate between 30 and 50 inches per minute. I kept the speed down because I didn't want the corian to chip. You'll notice here that I've got the corian upside down. I got the shiny side down, the rough side up. I was told to keep the rough side up where the gaskets are or the O-rings are, because that'll cause less slippage on your material. It took less than an hour to machine out the 4 pucks, and that was loading the table with the 2 sheets. I had 2 small sink cutouts of gray corian, but it took quite the time to put these together with epoxy. I made up 4 pucks, which is going to make 2 clamps, and the pucks will be joined together with steel rods, and then a clamp can grab the pieces between the rods. I also doubled up the corian so it's 1 inch thick where the brass fittings are. I found 1/2 inch, it's really tight when you start putting in 1/4 inch brass fittings. The rod length is about 13 inches. This gave me an opening of about 4 inches on the clamps. They'll spread apart 4 inches. I also welded washers on the end of the rods because I don't want the clamps to come apart. So here I'm showing I've got 2 small sheets of corian. There's the seam. I've got the clamp set up. I've got the vacuum pump running, and I'm tightening up the clamps, which is going to bring that seam nice and tight. The pump's running at about a -18, which is pretty good. And I tightened up those clamps pretty good, and they didn't move. I could see the clamps straining, but they didn't budge. This is just a small 3rd horsepower vacuum pump. I'm showing here the clamping strength. With these 2 clamps on, those 2 sheets are pretty snug. I could pick up the whole 2 pieces. They were about 50 inches long put together. It was 1 small piece and 1 large piece. And again, when you're clamping corian and using the corian glue, you don't get that seam red-faced tight. You make sure that the glue oozes out. So it's not super tight, but it's a good joint. This shows the flexibility of the clamps, how they pull apart and how they can pull in. This just shows another good use for a vacuum pump and vacuum pucks.